welcome to the Music Polyglot channel. Today we're looking at Flyte's Tough Love. Great song, amazing melody, really nice guitar part. We'll break it all down so that you can play it exactly as it sounds on the record. Let's do that in a close-up. So let's begin by talking about the intro, which is where the main chords and the main rhythm is. So the first thing to mention is that we are in standard tuning, but we have a capo. And the capo is on fret 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's on fret 7. So make sure that you place it there. Remember that it must be behind your fret. It shouldn't be touching it, but you want to have it as close as you can to the actual 7th fret so that, you get a nice clean sound out of every open string. Remember that when we have a capo, we refer to the shapes and to the frets as if capo was 0, which is to say, if I say, the 2nd fret on the low 6th string, which is the bottom one here, bottom one in terms of pitch, remember, always. So that's the 6th string. If I say 2nd fret, it's the 2nd fret from the capo. So that'll be fret 1 and that'll be fret 2. Likewise, when I refer to shapes, for example, if I say a C shape or a C major chord, right? I might say a C chord, right? I mean the C shape from the capo. Cool. So, bearing those two things in mind, let's have a look at that main sequence in the intro. I'll actually play it for you once so that you can see what's going on and then we'll break it down. So, it starts off with the beat, remember? And you can actually hear the acoustic guitar doing that kind of thing. But anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the main sequence. I'll slow it right down. Okay, as you can see, we really have 3 chords and 3 chords only. Chord number 1 is a G. Remember, we're talking about G, we're talking about shapes here. So it's as if you were playing a G major from your capo, but you really only need the index and the middle finger on those bottom 5th and 6th strings. You're not going to be strumming really the high strings, so you don't need to place anything down there, just those bottom 2. That's chord number 1. And of course, make sure that when you're strumming, you kind of focus on your bottom 4, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, say, 4, your bottom 4 strings. You don't want to be catching all 6 strings, really. The pattern isn't like that. On this one, you kind of really base yourself around the bass region of the chords in all of them, so there's that to bear in mind. Chord number 2, for chord number 2, all you're going to do is you're going to add your ring finger underneath your middle finger on the 5th string. So they're both going to be on the 3rd fret, always from the capo, right? 1 fret higher than where your index is. And it's the same kind of thing. You're just going to focus on strumming the bottom 4 strings. Now notice how I didn't take off my index. I just added my 3rd finger 1 fret higher, but I didn't take off my index. And this is because I know that I'm going to be coming back to that G, the first chord. Right, so in order to just keep that efficiency going, I know that I don't need to take my index off. I can just leave it on because I'm going to be coming off again. So those are the first 3 chords, right? Because G, 1, then you have this C over G, and then you have that G again, and chord number 4 is this. Okay, so this is a type of E minor. It's actually an E minor 9 chord. It's very fashionable these days. You hear it in loads of kind of more poppy, folky, acoustic songs. Very nice way of playing an E minor chord. So, what am I doing? I added the pinky. I could have just added the ring finger too, doesn't really matter, on the 4th fret of the D string. Your D string is your 4th string. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's your D string. And I've added a finger on the 4th fret. You can go for the ring finger or the pinky. I prefer the pinky, I have short fingers. And I haven't moved my index from the 2nd fret of the A string at all. It's still there. And again, I'm just trying to strum the bottom 4 strings. So recap on those 4 chords. It's actually 3, but 4 bars. So G first, then that C add 9 over G, then back to the original G, and now this E minor 9. Okay, so what I suggest you do now is just cycle through these 4 bars, strumming ones on each chord, just to memorize where those fingers need to be going. Remember that all throughout your index stays in place. Your index will not move from the 2nd fret of the A string. Beautiful. Now, let's talk about the rhythm. The rhythm's easy and actually a little bit hard at the same time. We're talking about the right hand now. I'm playing with a pick, and what you're going to be doing is you're going to be playing 1 bar on each chord. So every bar has 4 beats in it, so you're going to be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and then moving on to the next chord. But you're actually going to be playing twice in every beat. So you're going to be playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You're going to be playing all down strokes for this. So if I do that, if I play the sequence slowly and counting, you should have something like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and back to the G, 2 and 3 and 4, E minor 9, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You can practice that, and you want to get 2, 3, 4 a bit faster. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, now those who are more detailed oriented of you might have noticed, oh, but hold on a minute, the sound actually changed a little bit. What did you change? What did you do differently as you started to get a little bit faster? The only thing I changed is I strummed some of those down strums a little bit harder. So the only thing I did is I accented some of those strums a little bit more than the others. So instead of having a completely flat 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, which you can on the original track, it's actually played a little bit more like this. What I did was this. So all I'm doing is I'm accenting the 2, so the second beat, 1 and 2, and then I'm accenting the and of 3 and the and of 4. Right, so I'm going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 2 and. Okay, so you can practice to get that if you want, but if you play everything straight and just equal 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, it's going to sound pretty much like the record, because that's actually closer to what they're doing. What I did now with the accents, it sounds closer to the song, because really I'm replicating the accents that you perceive from the beat. But the guitar itself isn't really playing these accents all that much. It's a little bit more straightforward. So, feel free to also play it more straightforward, just playing all the downstrokes equally. So the good news is that in the verses, the sequence is exactly the same. Same chords and same rhythm 3 times. So we're talking about... That'll be the sequence once, right? This is the second time. This is the third time. I hear you. Okay, I don't actually know the words, as you may have noticed. Great song, by the way. I really like the melody here. So you may have noticed that in the fourth, what should have been the fourth repetition isn't actually a repetition. You don't repeat the same chords again. Although the rhythm is the same, the chords change. So let's have a look at them. So this sequence also has it's 3 chords, just like the first one, but divided into 4 bars. Bar number 1 is this, which is a C over G. It looks like an E major, right? You would play an E major there, for example, but it's on the lowest set of strings, so strings 6, 5, and 4, and 1 fret higher, right? Let's break it down just in case. So index on the 2nd fret, 4th string, middle finger, 6th string, 3rd fret, and ring finger, 5th string, 3rd fret as well. So you have... Okay, so that's a C over G. That's going to be the first bar. For the second bar, super easy. All you have to do is to add the pinky on the 4th fret of the D string, right? So it's just 1 fret further up from the other 2. And notice how, again, I'm not taking off the index, although the index and the pinky are on the same string. I could do that, but I'm not going to, because I'm going to be going back to that C over G. So far we have, and then back, and then here. The pinky goes back on, but this time not on the D string, but on the A string. Okay? And again, I'm not taking off the ring finger because it's just a very short 1 bar thing, so I don't really need to be going like that. So recap. First bar of that second sequence. Second bar. Lovely chord. Third. 4th. Very nice. Remember to just cycle through these chords a few times until you have it down, and then introduce the rhythm, which is the same as it was before. So how's it going so far? Don't forget that you have tabs that you can download and print so that you can follow more easily exactly what you see on the video, but in a PDF form, from the Patreon page, to which I'll leave a link in the description below. So the choruses have a very, very similar rhythm. We're gonna kind of break it down a little bit more maybe a bit later. Chords are different. Chord number 1, let's actually play it, shall we? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. chords are different. The first one is G, you know, G, that was actually the very first chord in the whole song. Now, at the beginning, you may land on the G like that, but I actually suggest that in the choruses, you play the G with the middle and the ring fingers like that. Why? Because it's going to make everything easier later. So that's chord number 1. Chord number 2 is an A minor 7. So it's just like an A minor, but you take off the middle finger. Sorry, the ring finger. And then your E minor 9 that we saw earlier. Now, this E minor 9 would really make a lot more sense, technically speaking, if you played it with fingers 2 and 4 here. But that's a little bit harder than just going to the same fingering that you had before, even if it's a little bit more movement. So I suggest that you just do the most natural thing to you, which is probably going to be keeping the original fingering and going there for that E minor 9. But those are the 3 chords that we have. This chorus is a little bit unusual in that the sequence is only 3 bars and it's actually subdivided a little bit unusually as well. So let me play you the sequence counting so that you see where the divisions come. So starting on that G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you noticed that we have that G, A minor 7, E minor 7 sequence twice, and on the third time it's different. So on the third time we actually have a full C over G, right? So a C over G is like a C major chord, but now you want to take off, not off, you want to take up the ring finger to the 6th string, same 3rd fret, and add your pinky right underneath on the 5th fret, on the 3rd fret 5th string, right? So that you have a normal C major chord, but with a G in the bass. So you have a bar of that, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you go back to the G, 1, 2, and the A minor 7, 3, 4. And then you have a full bar of A minor 7, which has a hard stop on 4 the first time through, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now I'm going to recap that whole first chorus for you nice and slowly. You can play along if you want, right? The counting is a little bit tricky, so make sure that you let those chords that last for a bar and a half, you let them ring out as long as they need to be. Check the chart to help you, and remember that you can download it from the Patreon page. So here goes the first chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Here comes the C of G. 2, 3, 4. C. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you'd go back to the second verse. Cool. The second time through in the chorus, you don't have the stop, you play through because then you get into the bridge, which we'll have a look at now. So the bridge introduces 2 new chords. Chord number 1, C major 9. This might be a new chord for most of you, so let's break it down. We have the index on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, your middle, and that's that. Your middle finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th, your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and your pinky on the 4th fret of the G string, 3rd string. And you play from the 5th string up. Up meaning up in pitch always, so that's strings 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, right? Cool, that's C major 9, that's your first chord. And then we switch to this. As you can probably tell, very little is changing, right? All right, so that second chord, which is a D7 over C, your middle finger and your ring finger stay exactly where they are from the C major 9. But to move to the D7, your index drops one string to the third, and the pinky that wasn't the third switches to the fourth, so they actually swap over. Right? C major 9, D7. Beautiful. And you go to and fro like that 3 times, like this. Always 1 bar on each, all downs. Check out the last time here, this. Okay, so that last chord was different, right? It is an A7 over G. Now we've played it before, but we played it slightly differently. So let's break it down now so that you can go straight to it. Okay, this is actually quite easy. Look, so it looks like the D7 over C, right, which is your second chord in the bridge, except that instead of you being on strings 5, 4, and 3, you drop 2 strings, 6, 5, and 4. Same thing, but 1 set of strings lower. And you can dispense of the ring finger. It doesn't need to be there anymore, so it's just 3 fingers. And that's the last chord. This takes over where that D7 should be. So let me play you that one more time. Bridge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here goes the A7. And then you go on to the chorus, which we've covered. The chorus repeats, and that's the end of the song, really, which is great. Now, at the very end of the song, you have seen me play this chord, right? Which is exactly kind of the sonority that you hear at the end of the recorded version. Now, this is because on the recorded version, there's 2 guitars, and one of the guitars is actually playing that note, whereas the other guitar is just playing a regular A minor. But I thought, hey, we can actually add that really nice 9th sound to that chord if we really wanted to kind of it's a great ending chord, right? Okay, so all you have to do to get that ending chord is from an A minor 7, which is what you would be playing. You actually want to add the pinky on the 4th fret of the G string. The G string is the 3rd string, obviously. Right, and you play it from the A like a normal A chord. Right, and this will be at the very end, so the second time through that second repeated chorus. And you'll kind of end up, I'll kind of play the last sequence, right? Tough love. Here, 3, 4, 1, and 2. Okay, so it ends on 1 and 2. And you just let it ring out at the very end. If you compare what you're doing to what the track is doing and you want to play exactly as they do, then this is how you do it. Obviously, if you're playing on your own, you get to choose your own ending. So there we have it. It's a great song and it's so much fun to play. I hope the video was useful. If it was, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you get notified when more videos come up. Thank you for staying till the end, and I'll see you next time.